Hello everybody, we're back, and this is the first turn. Actually, I think it counts as turn 0 in the Ascension Wars. This is Bob, the God of Friwald, and there's a little intro screen here. This is always the same. You can read it if you want. This is basically what I explained last episode. This is the lore behind it. And now the wheel has turned once again. The Supreme God has suddenly disappeared, and the Ascension Wars will begin. Good. And here we are. This is Friwald. This is the name of the province. Again, there's a lot of information on the screen, and as I said earlier, this is not a very pretty interface, but it is a very useful one. There are some things that we should look at, but let's start by zooming out a little bit. This is the world. The main thing you'll note is if we start scrolling to the right, there we are again. This is a wraparound map. If we start going north, and there we are again. And that is how geography works in this game. Don't question it, it's magic. A wizard did it, alright? Or a god did it, whatever. So it's a wraparound in two directions, both north and south. We start in this. You can't really call it the middle, I suppose, but it's in the middle of the screen when you open the game, so this is the middle. There's a lot of information on the screen, and for those who have played this game before, they will know what this all represents. There's a lot to look at. I'm gonna explain some of the things here that we are looking at. The main thing that some will notice is that we've already given orders, and I have basically already taken this turn and sent it in, but just because that's easier for me to do it this way. And we'll talk about what I've done with our nation here. We have a starting territory, and that's all we control right now. The yellow line is the outline of our dominion, and it only covers that one territory at the start. We can click here and do like so. Now I've cancelled these orders and no one is moving. The lines here that you see are the access points that we have to neighboring territories. This territory is adjacent. You can move armies from this territory to the next one because there's a line that's what it represents. Good. This line is blue because this is a water territory and you need to be able to breathe underwater to go here. Most of our units will not be able to do that, not even our undead units, which normally undead units cannot, or can go underwater. Our special units cannot. Good. We start with two commanders. They are here. We have Gundrik, the Sylvan Commander. We've covered the unit types earlier. This is the undead type commander that we have, basic commander type. And there's not much to say about him. He's pretty weak. And then we have one scout. Gunthamund, the scout. Good. What else can we look at here? If we right click on this, which is this, and have this selected, you can see the flag is blinking. We get the information about this territory. It has a population of 29,540 hobbits. That's pretty basic for your starting city. Will have this amount. Because we have death in the province, you can see the dominion in that province right here. This is our basic dominion, and it will start with exactly what we have. It has death, so it will decrease every turn. Can we click here? Oh, you can click like that. Say dominion, it has death, so it will slowly declining, which is interesting. It has some supplies. We are using 99 of those, so we have some wiggle room here. It has an income of 334, and that is all of our income from the entire nation over here, so that is the same 334. All of our income is currently coming from this territory. Makes sense? Then resources is a special resource. Income is shared for the entire nation and carries over every turn. You have an upkeep for the units we have already, that's represented here. Resources are different. You have a certain amount of resource available in each territory every turn, and they do not carry over. So you might as well, if you can, in every turn to try to spend as many resources as you can. Same with recruitment points. They do not carry over between turns, and they are not shared between the nations. They are province specific. So resources and recruitment points are both province specific, and they do not carry over between turns. Then we have a defense of 25. We can click this one. This is our basic defense. We can increase it. Well, we cannot because we don't have any gold. But we have a captain, a Sylvan commander, some ghoul forest infantry, lancers, and all these units here are basic defense units that you start with. You start with this one at level 25, and they are free, do not require any upkeep, but they cannot move. So these are special units that are only for defense of the territory. Good. We can look at... So one thing to note, if I right-click this territory here, we don't get any information at all, because we don't have any intel on this territory. Same with the other ones here. As soon as the first turn rolls over and we go into turn 2, we will start to gain some intel on neighboring territories, but we don't start with any of that. Good. So what we can do is we can look at our own territory here. We have a pretty large fort. This is the building here. We have our 2 basic buildings. They are also over here. Those were the ones that are specific to our nation. We will always have them, and there won't be any other buildings to find in their territory. Sometimes there can be sites that can be found. We start with a temple. We have a number of temples 1. Converted provinces 1. That's the one we start in. And a dominion strength 6. Chance of successful dominion spread is 80. And that's a whole different calculation based on these things here. Chances of spreading dominion is based on home province, temples, and some more things. We don't have our pretender and we don't have a prophet right now, and you can see our bless effects here. So one of the things we want to do is make one of our dudes a prophet. And this guy, Gunderik, you have been chosen to become our prophet. And this will make him a priest level 3. He will be able to lead some more units. It will give him some buffs and such. And you basically want to do it on a weak dude that isn't a spellcaster already. That's at least my experience, because he will be able to cast a specific type of spells based on his setup or becoming a prophet. So you don't want to have it on someone who's already a spellcaster, because it will be conflicting in what choices of spells they have. Gunthermund, on the other hand, is a scout. So his special thing is that he can move into territories and be hidden and give us some intel. We can make it a red arrow and then he will attack, or we can make it this gray arrow and he will sneak in there. To compare with that, the prophet guy here does not have... Oh, he does have stealth, so it's a bad example. He could sneak too if I wanted. But some of them can't, and they will always get the red arrow, especially if they are commanding units. So let's start... If you zoom in here, you can also see there are some units here. Again, the sprites are not that detailed. And if anyone has watched until this point and are thinking, what the hell is going on? I urge you to fast forward a few episodes, or at least wait until they've come out, and then watch a battle, because that's where this game gets really good. It's in the battles. Also the time in between the battles when you get to understand it, but the battle is really what makes it for me. If we click on army setup, we get to view all the units that we have and start with. We start with Friwald's Ghoul Forest Infantry from Friwald, and we start with basically the same, but they are the sticks, and these guys are the big pitchforks. We can put them in the same... Maybe we cannot. I'm not sure why we can't combine the two. Huh. Well, never mind. In the first turn here, we'll just make one guy, Gunderik here, the prophet, and the units here will not really do anything. Then when you click recruit units, these are all the units that we've talked about, the commanders and the units. We are recruiting a buried consort. This is the guy who gets cheaper because we have Death Domain, and he's a spellcaster with Earth and Death. And we are recruiting as many Nightblades as we can. These were hyenas. I'm shaking my head. You can't see it, but I'm shaking my head because it's kind of silly. And then, let's see. Right, so let's just remove it all, and I can show why we aren't recruiting anymore. You see we have these, I talked about the gold. This is how much gold we have. These are how many resources are in this territory. Then the recruitment points and the commander points. You remove the commander. Commanders points are special in that they only used for commanders, and they all have different costs. They go between 1 commander point up to 4 commander points for the really interesting leaders. And frog herds. We can make these. We have to make some frog herds at some point. But I want a bird consort. He costs some gold, only 1 resource, but then 2 commander points. So you see, we go into 0 commander points. We can't make more commanders per turn. Fine. Then we move down into the units. We still have some resources left over to build here. There's also something called holy points over here. And that is based on our dominion that we set up in the Pretender Guard creation screen. We have 6, which means we can create 6 sacred units. These guys are sacred. We can bless them, and they are special to us. We can only create 6 of them. Otherwise, I would spam them forever, but we can only make the 6. And then with resources left over, we spam some slingers because they are really, really cheap. We want to try to use all the resources and recruitment points. I think I ended up getting some hammers in there. Like so, probably. I think it was like this. Or you can go back and look. But yeah, I think this was the setup. We pretty much optimized our recruitment points and our resources as much as we could. If we had a little bit more gold, we could make more. Well, we probably... Oh, then we were going over in recruitment points. But you can use that to carry over to next turn. So this will be our recruitment turn 1. We're recruiting some units. We are making this guy a profit. And we're sneaking over here. We're not making any research. We don't only... You have to have commanders researching in order to research. So we aren't even talking about that yet. You can see here what... We gained some random bonuses into the different categories. We started with construction level 2, which is really nice. So we can start with the construction of lesser magic items when we have some characters who can do that. But this is a really nice one to get early. Same with enchantment. Will allow us to animate dead and animate skeletons. And then we have thaumaturgy and alteration. Don't care too much about them. We want to focus on construction and enchantment early on. We want to go into a revive king here, and I really want to get to create revenant and which one was it? Pale Riders? No. I think we have to go really far then. Ritual of Rebirth. Well, Create Revenant will be good for sure, because that's a commander that can go underwater. And we'll try to... I thought we were... Maybe that is in Conjuration. Summon Shades. Yeah, okay, here we get some actual units. Whites and Banes. We definitely have to go into Conjuration as well. Okay. Whites are really good. Bane is too, of course. And then it becomes better and better. Interesting. The blue ones that we see here are nation-specific ones. And of course, summons an Angel of Fury commander. Interesting. Heavenly Wrath. But we can't cast that one because we don't have any Astral level 3 mages, I think. Scorpion Man. Summons a Scorpion Man, alright. At level 8. Not anything that's going to happen sometime soon here. I don't think we have any other nation specific. I don't know. We don't want to go over all that. We can start to look a little bit at what other things are going on the screen. I said that to win the game, basically, you have to claim these Thrones of Ascension. Here is an example of a territory that has a Throne of Ascension. We don't know what type of throne it is, but we can see where they are. And if we click over here, the statistics, we can see nation overview. This is our own nation. We can see scored graphs. I don't think we can actually see these. Well, there's nothing to show yet. Maybe we can. Then Hall of Fame has nothing yet. Pretenders of the World is of course interesting. We have Bob. We have He Who Snicks. This is a Portis nation. This is the guy with the poison cloud snakes. And a bunch of them. Blood magic, fire magic, astral magic. Ooh, all kinds of good spellcasters here. He has a sailing as well. That allows him to move over water. Spearmaster. This is actually a human with a horse. Huh. And same here. Alright. And then most of them will emit this poison cloud. They are amphibian and cold-blooded. Swarm survival. Alright. What is their sacred unit? This one here. Poison follower. And it doesn't look like that if there's anything special about them except this poison cloud. Alright. That's He Who Snicks. Then we have Cassandra. And these are fish people. Ichthyos. Ateninium worships the pretender Cassandra, mistress of the forest, goddess of the healing arts, patron of languages. This gives an indication of what kind of magic paths they took. Goddess of the healing arts sounds like nature. This is definitely nature. Patron of languages is probably astral. They are invulnerable. Gives the damage reduction to non-magic weapons. Very cool. They are also amphibian. Shape changer bear. Monk of the solstice. Nature mage. A pillager. Huh. He's got a net. Let's look at their sacred unit. Strength of the autumn. So they are stronger during autumn. Interesting. Night Stalker of fall. And then they have just basic units. A harpoon thrower, but with precision 5, that's very low. And a bandit, so they have this pillager trait, okay. They are bandits. That was Cassandra for Ateninium. He Who Snakes is Portis the worship, the pretender of She Who Snakes. The Leech, that's blood magic, I think. Patron of human sacrifice, definitely blood magic. And Lady of Wisdom sounds like astral. Cool. Then we have Adulation of the Writhing Flesh. Oh boy. Primary Mage. So it doesn't have all the art, but this is a mundane researcher, which means he doesn't care about whether there's magic or drain scale in a territory. His supply bonus. Archdruid. Just different mages. This thing has 2 heads and a tentacle arm. Interesting. Also a mundane researcher. Druid of the Hawks. Druid of Conflagration. Oh my god, these nations. Haha. Master of Lightning. Web Spit. Okay. Inferior Bishop. Yeah. This is a fish riding a camel. Warlord with tentacles. Falchion Commander. General. All kinds of monster units here. Ah, right. I think I've heard about this foul spawn thing. It has a chance of generating different units when he recruits these things. Yeah. So I think that's for all of these probably. And probably for these guys too. Is when he recruits one of them, he gets a random one rather than choosing which one. The same with these foul spawn thing. You recruit a foul spawn and then you get one of them. You don't know which one, so he might get the good one, he might get the worst one here. And then he has some pale ones, which is just like ogres, cave ogres. Fair enough. That was him. Of the writhing flesh, sounds like blood. Queen of the Spring is nature magic. Guardian of the Dead, so probably death. And Mistress of Animals is sounds like it is probably nature as well. Then we have Sathmok of Kontum. Kontum worships the pretender Sathmok, master of death and rebirth. That's like us. Ah, really? Foremost of the Westerners. Tower of Strength. Alright. They are Drake riders. This is what? A rat? Oh, it's a pygmy. It's a little dude riding a rat. Of course. And these are... oh. Cool. Master Spellsinger. And then he has a water elemental as a retinue. Cool. Just mages. Nothing special here. Different types of mages. And then a Drake Knight as a leader. And a Spearmaster. It's a pygmy. They're the same size as a hobbit. And an assassin. Not a good assassin, but it is an assassin. Alright. You can imagine what an assassin does. Strength of the winter. So we have... ours was the strength of spring. They have some other types. Alright. I'm gonna go through all of them. Why not? There's not a lot to do on turn 0 otherwise. So here we have Sififgal. Might be slaughtering these names, but these are made up names anyway. Worships the pretender Anubhai, king of the winds. That's air magic. Messenger of the gods. Vessel of might. That's earth magic. Alright, and these are giants. Yes, size 3. Different types of mages with Farcaster. More mages. Mages and priests. And he rides what? It's a hoof. It's just a horse. Alright. So expensive though. And he has a Minotaur on the side here. Okay. Berserk. Recuperation. Yeah, fair enough. Master Lancer. And a Spy, who's also a giant. But really stealthy. Unseen Hunter. Overcharged. When this unit is struck, an electric discharge is unleashed that will charge, damage, and possibly stun the attacker. But see, this is one of the things where to our nation this really doesn't matter. Because we will have hundreds of units. And then if one of them hit and it gets a stun back, that's it. And then the ability is expended at that point. So we lose one hobbit probably to get rid of that ability. And then at that point, the rest of the hobbits will just surround this dude and overwhelm them. The way defense skill works, it's a good thing to cover. Is for the first attack during the turn, they will have the full thing. Then the next attack in the same turn, it will be lowered by 1. And then lowered by 1 for the next attack. So when you have 20 hobbits hitting the same unit in the same turn, the defense skill will be 0 for the last 12 attack for this guy, because he's got 8 defense skill. So surrounding units with a lot of hobbits is a viable strategy. We will be vulnerable to spells like Fireball, that are area attack spells and such. So that's something we'll have to keep in mind. It's got more Minotaurs and Centaurs, alright. Also some monstrous things. So these are very strong thug-like units. And a hatchet with a heavy sling. Excuse me. Ooh. And he got a great bow on the sacred units. Interesting. So he's probably got precision for them. He's got air magic. That was Sathmok. No, that was Anubhai. Yeah. Then we have not Drist Duerden, but Sist Bo Dobernen. Ha. Another joke name. Master of Fires of the Earth, Divine Architect, and Prince of the Hunt. So that's fire magic, probably maybe earth magic, and then Divine Architect sounds like earth magic, and Prince of the Hunt sounds like nature. These are demons. Fortune teller. Shape changer werewolf, okay. So a lot of fire, I'm seeing a lot of fire. And they are radiating heat. See, this is bad for our hobbits. Really bad. It's like an area of effect around them, that they burn everything around them. And we will be vulnerable to area of effect stuff. For sure. They ride salamanders. They have a lot of sacreds. No, only the other ones. They ride scorpions, of course. Here's a cursed spear. Bane of heresy. Oh. Will only affect guards and sacred units. So it's a buff or bonus versus sacred units. Interesting. And then we have a Avasian axeman. These are just some really heavy dudes. Interesting. And then the final one, Rock the Raspat. Oh, a nation of flying units with hydras. Raspat worships the pretender Rock the Haspa. Okay. God of tremors, Bane of men, Prince of inventions. Bane of men? Could be death or blood. God of tremors sounds like earth. I don't know what this is. Probably earth. And then everyone is flying. That's interesting. Flying demons with chaos power means they like turmoil versus order. Interesting. And fire and death, fire and death, fire and death. I'm looking at magic here. Alright. And this thing is a beast. And really good versus hobbits, because it's unsurroundable. Reduced penalty from being surrounded and attacked from multiple opponents at once. So it can be attacked 4 times per turn before it starts suffering defense skill penalties, because it has so many heads and eyes to look around it. And it has fear, so that's pretty bad for our little hobbits. And it is blunt resistance and pierce resistant. It takes normal half damage, and it has regeneration. Hydras are beasts, as you can imagine. This is a scout. These are their sacred units. And it's basically just flyers with basic stuff. Alright. But chaos power is interesting. We have order in our territories and cold. So if they come into our dominion, they won't get this firepower bonus, and they won't get this chaos power bonus. So that's kind of good. If we go into their territory, they will have it though. So worth noting. And they have a fire sword. Really strong. Alright. Alright, and flying sounds like it's gonna be a hell to deal with. And we have Bob. Friwald worships Bob, the King of Kings, God of dark magics, Gatherer of the Dead. Alright. That's our title. And then Thrones of Ascension is the one we want to look at. In order to win the game, you need to have 12 Ascension points. And they are these thrones, all are level 2. Number of Ascension points this throne is worth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 thrones, and you need 6 of them to win the game. And when you claim a throne, they will give different benefits. Throne of the First Age will spread your dominion as basically as 3 temples. Increases magic in your domain, and blessed troops will gain a bonus in your bless. And they all give different things. This one gives you nature gems, increases your growth, spreads dominion 2, and dominion gets growth 1. Alright. Water produces gems. Oh, and it enables the recruitment of a hydromancer. We would like this one. We don't really have access to water magic otherwise. And blessed troops will give defense skill +3. That's pretty good. Crystal throne gives you crystal mages. Cool. And some gems. Iron throne. Another one that gives you mages, very cool. We will benefit from getting those, I think. And another one here. Alright, so any throne we claim has a good chance of giving us... And yeah, okay. Maybe that's built into this specific mod. And then Throne of Knowledge. So we really want to claim a throne early to get recruitment of one of these types of mages. That would be pretty cool. I mean... And this... You always want to claim a throne early. The closest one we have is here. So we could definitely think about going for that early. But in the first few turns it's not viable to go for thrones. They are usually very well guarded. We will explore this one here and then see what happens. We'll get some intel on the surrounding provinces and we'll try to build up an army and then we'll figure out a strategy from there on out. That's it for the first episode. And it was a little bit longer than I planned, but we went through a lot of things. Hopefully it was sort of informative. We should turn on this. So we get how much Dominion is at in that province. You can see it here as well. It's currently at Dominion Strength 2. Alright. And that's it. So that's it for the episode. Yeah, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.